Bang, bang, nine game. What's good? What's good? You see the chain, baby. Let's go. Always represent that red and gold. This your boy Florida Mike, aka German Chocolate. So I am coming at you guys with a video today about Debo Samuel and the San Francisco 49ers. And it's been reported, okay? Now this is not coming from Debo Samuel's actual mouth, but it has been reported that Debo has talked with some reporters and they're saying that he no longer wants to be a San Francisco 49er. And when Debo quoted this, they said that he never revealed why. Him and the organization know, and that's it. Now, there's been a lot of speculation going that Debo Samuel is not happy with the way he's being utilized, meaning he's playing running back and wide receiver. So let's talk about this in detail, and let's come to, conclusion and see where we go from here. Now, here's my honest critique and take on it. I'm going to be unbiased, and I'm going to give a critique as Debo Samuel's perspective versus the organization's perspective, and then you can be the judge of seeing which side of the fence you're on. All right, so let's start with Debo Samuel. Now, Debo is a player for the 49ers. He's been used as a wide receiver and a running back this particular year with a lot of snaps, basically being running back number 2. Now, on Debo's behalf, I will say this. If you are playing in that position, in that role for the 49ers, especially now that they extended the season, like by an additional game, you're pretty much putting a lot of wear and tear and mileage on your body. So as a wide receiver, your career might be cut shorter and you won't have a chance to make money for a lengthy longevity time, because we know the running back lifespan is really short because they get so many hits. So with Debo taking all of those hits in games and then having to go play wide receiver, he probably feels like, hey, man, I don't like the way I'm being used, despite him saying in a Pro Bowl interview that he's embracing the role and during the season. Now, some 49er fans might ask, well, why didn't he come up with this during the season? Well, here's the reality. We got some unexpected injuries to our depth at running back this past year. So really, Elijah Mitchell was like the only healthy back consistently, and he even was banged up some of the games this year. So they needed somebody. They got to fill the void, because we can't just not play with a running back. We have to run the ball, right? Well, Debo Samuel, he has the ability. He's versatile, and he's actually been doing this since college. If you watch his college days at South Carolina, he actually had the ability to play running back and run the ball. Although he was not used that much at running back like he was with the Niners this past year, he showed the ability to be very versatile. Returning kicks, he can run the ball, he can receive. He's versatile. So in Debo's mind, if the reports are true and if they're accurate, it probably is just a matter of Debo Samuel simply just not like how he's being utilized. It has nothing to do with money, because the 49ers could pay him right now if they want. But we know from the history of the 49ers, they don't wait. They don't pay people up front. They make sure they prove themselves and fulfill their contract, and then they pay them when time is due. Look at George Kittle as an example, the best tight end in the NFL, might I add. They didn't pay him right away. Fred Warner got an extension much later. So that's what the Niners do. So Debo Samuel will not be treated any different. He will get his pay later probably than sooner. However, the Niners are in a situation where they could pay him now, I guess, if they wanted to, but he still is under contract. So the reality is, with all this going on, I don't think pay is the biggest reason. It could be a little bit of a factor, because he's saying receivers get paid out the yin-yang, overpriced in this market. But I think it has a lot to do with him not the way he's being utilized, because Kyle Shanahan also in an interview said that he does not plan on changing that. He's going to utilize Debo Samuel going forward in that same role. So with that being said, Debo probably like, man, I ain't doing this. I ain't killing myself. So your goal is to win games, but my goal is to make money. So think of it like if you're at a job and the job was overworking you and it's stressing the hell out of you. So even though you're able to do the job, you're like, hey, I was hired to do this, but I'm being asked to do all of these. That's probably what Debo Samuel is thinking in his mind if the reports are accurate. Now, let's go to the management side. On their defense, the management is probably like, look, I drafted you. I know you have versatility, and I wanted to bring the most out of it. And because this season we were short on running backs, I had to use you and that skill to help us be a winning team. And it worked. Although he was used a lot as a running back, it still was effective, but it's not likely to use one of your top receivers to run the football just as much as the starting running back. You know what I mean? But in the defense of the organization, they drafted him, and they're paying him, and they can actually use him however they want, whether Debo likes it or not. So who's right? I'm going to let you be the judge of that, but I'll leave you with this. You have one guy looking out for his best interest and his payday. Then you have an organization looking out for their best interest to win and not so much of the player's best interest payday. So you can decide who's right on that or not. But at the end of the day, some Niner fans want to keep Debo. Some Niner fans are like, hey, he has to go. My thing is this. The organization is going to prioritize the organization. The player is going to prioritize the player. If they can't come to an agreement, then more than likely, they're probably going to let him go and trade him and get some good draft capital for him. But I will say this. To everybody saying that Debo Samuel didn't do anything to earn it like these other receivers, he hasn't played that, many years. Well, the man came in his rookie year, and despite what his stats are, being under 1,000 receiving yards, was Debo Samuel not the most effective player on our team that year, especially in the Super Bowl? He was doing his thing as a rookie. He came in as a rookie and performed really well for a rookie in his rookie year. So it's not like he just started this year. He's actually been doing that in his rookie year. He just did it at a higher capacity this year. They utilize him. But Debo Samuel's targets has gone down compared to probably the past. Debo Samuel is being utilized a lot as a running back. So he has legitimate concern about the longevity of his career because he's not playing for the 49ers just to be a winner and a contender. Like every NFL player, they're playing for themselves and their salary, and they want longevity as they do it. But like every franchise team, they're drafting you to win. So that's what it comes down to. This won't be the first time. It won't be the last. This is business. That's what this is. So there's no fault to Debo Samuel, and there's no fault to the organization. Both of them just have to come to a mutual conclusion. And if they can't, then they're probably going to have to part ways. But right now, at this point, the 49ers have the leverage to Debo. They don't have to do anything with him. And he's going to pretty much have to play because he's under contract, despite how he likes how he's utilized or not. So there you have it. So anyway, I want to make this video before I conclude so that way to bring a lot more clarity as to the business side of what's really going on in detail, because there's a lot of fans saying things like, let him go, he's acting crazy. Hey, man, if this was your job and your manager was overworking you and underpaying you, you'd be leaving the job too. You'd be wanting to leave too. You wouldn't want to stay there because you don't care about the company sales. You care about your own individual health and your pockets. And that's what Debo's doing. He's prioritizing himself. You can't really be mad at that. However, the organization is like, hey, we employed you, and if you don't like the way we use you, then tough luck. We want to win, and that's our goal, and this is why we drafted you, and we're going to use you however we see fit. And you also can't be mad at that. The organization is not to blame. Neither is Debo. This is business. Both have valid, legitimate points. But at the end of the day, the organization is going to prioritize the organization. Simple as that. In my humble opinion, I don't believe no position is worth overpaying for unless it's a franchise quarterback. Because even with Super Bowl teams that win without franchise quarterbacks that are not really good, they have to build around them and get a lot of pieces around them just to be able to compete and win. But if you got a franchise quarterback, they could work with lesser talent and still compete and win. I'd rather have a franchise quarterback. If I'm going to overpay, it's the only position I truly value because you don't find franchise quarterbacks all the time. You can replace wide receivers. You can replace running backs. Just being honest, you can. I don't care how great any receiver is. They're all replaceable. You can get multiple tight ends with one receiver and get the same production. New England Patriots have proven that every time they've gone to the Super Bowl pretty much. So anyway, I hope this video brings some clarity. I'm interested to see in the comments what side of the fence are you on, Debo side, organization side, or are you torn and you're kind of with both? Time will tell what we do. But at the end of the day, if we do trade him, hey, man, it's not all lost. It is what it is. We get a bunch of draft capital, and we keep it moving. We plug and play. That's what we do. That's what a real organization does. So, bang, bang, Niner gang. Either way, I'm with my Niner faithful, baby. Let's get it.